I had my first economics class in high school, and I thought it was interesting, and I liked the idea of understanding how things work really appealed to me. So later on, I decided to go to business school. At the time, economics, I wasn't really sure I could make a career out of that. So that led to economics and finance. And so what I do now essentially is the application of economics and finance. A great investor needs to really protect to the downside. It's really not to cause irrevocable harm. A great investor also needs to understand history and experience as a framework for their decision-making process. And one of my favorite sayings about great investors is that it's not really what you know, it's what you don't know that matters. And that's really pretty humbling to think about, because how do you figure out what you don't know? I've had experience with many investors, other CIOs, other public plans, and it's surprising sometimes that you think that you have this rule that you think in your mind, you have to be good at this in order to be a good CIO. You find a guy doing it completely differently. So I think at the end of the day, you have to be knowledgeable, you have to know what you're doing, you have to learn from history, you can't make all the mistakes yourself, no portfolio can survive that. But at the end of the day, you have to play to your own strengths, and different people have their own strengths. So different investors just view the world differently, just any other person does. I'm sure you've heard the saying, some people see the glass as half full, some people see it as half empty. And distressed guys kind of look at the glass and see, well, it's got half a cup of water, how much money can I get for that? So everybody has their own way. Some people are comfortable projecting growth into the future. Some people are more protecting on the downside. And so that's essentially the personality traits actually fall into that. Life experiences fall into that. I've noticed over the years that a lot of the authors that have written about black swans and left-tailed risk, whatever, have come from very troubled countries. Some of them they didn't grow up and have the American experience for the last 50 years. So that's part of their personality, it's part of their history, it's part of how they learn their lessons. Experience is something you look for, but also it's something that is a bias that you have to protect against. Many people had great success doing private equity in the 80s, but tried to keep doing the same thing with the same teams for 10, 15 years later, and that didn't work as well for them. So you do have to change, and hopefully experience teaches you that too, not that you just keep doing the same thing expecting that nothing else changes. And I think that's where the skill in macroeconomics and history gives you a perspective on things.